Hello, my loves. I'm so excited to be here to teach you ways to love your labor. And I just want you to know that there are so many amazing and positive birth stories out there. And a lot of times those negative ones can kind of cloud the vision. But I've had amazing birth experiences myself, and I've seen my students report back these beautiful births that they envision themselves having. And I just love paying that forward, or at least setting you up for the opportunity to experience something like that. Now, showing up in this class is definitely the first step to loving your labor. Labor is a marathon. It takes mental and physical preparation, and being here to show yourself some love, show your baby some love, along with preparing yourself for that labor and that birth and that experience as you transition into parenthood. So I am so excited to be here. Today's class, we're going to use some affirmations. We're going to use some breathing exercises that you would use in labor, and then we're going to use yoga poses that help prepare your body to help get baby in the correct position when you're in the later stages of pregnancy, and to stretch things out to help you feel good in your body during pregnancy. So a few things that you're going to want for this class: maybe a pillow or a bolster to prop yourself up on a few poses, yoga blocks if you have them. You can always use like a chair or a stool if that works better for you. So go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position, whether that be sitting up on a block or on a pillow to prop your hips up a little bit, helping that spine get in line with your pelvis. And then when you're ready, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze by looking down at the floor in front of you. Notice all those pressure points weighing down, connected to your mat or your prop. And then feel an energy running up your spine through the crown of your head. If it feels comfortable, you can take your hands to your belly. Taking a moment to feel that connection with your baby. Noticing how you and baby are one, how your breath in provides oxygen for your baby, for the muscles that help support your baby, like your uterus. Maybe you take a moment to invite baby along with your practice today. Maybe even stating that you look forward to your birthing experience, to that moment that you and baby work together to meet Earthside. And we're going to start a breath that is great to use in the early stages and during the pushing stages of labor. And this breath is called calming breath. And what we're going to do is take a deep inhale through the nose for a count of 4. And then as you slowly release that exhale, press that breath into the back of your throat, almost like you're fogging up a glass with your breath. So we'll do that for 6 on our exhale. When you're ready, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a slight pause, and then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale for 4, expand, press the belly into your palms, and then slowly exhale, allowing that breath to travel down into the back of the throat. Inhale, Exhale, press it out and allow your body to release and let go as you exhale. A few more times. Noticing the belly maybe moving away from your hands as you breathe out. Allow your attention to soften. You can release your hands down to your thighs. On your inhale, we're going to lift the chest, lift the gaze to the ceiling, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, tuck the chin, round the back. Hug baby in with the belly as you exhale in. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Coming to neutral, we're going to begin a torso circle here. So inhale, bring your shoulder to one side. Chest is going to push forward, taking it to the other side, and then exhale, round and tuck your chin. Really focusing on your chest as you round here, feeling that rotation within the hips too. And go ahead and switch directions. Coming to a neutral spine. If you have a yoga block handy, you can grab onto that. If you don't, you're just going to place your hand down onto the mat or ground beside you. Otherwise, take your hand to the block, your right or left hand, and then opposite arm is going to reach up and overhead. Keeping that left or opposite hip bone sitting down, and peel the shoulder back, almost like you're bringing your chest towards the ceiling if you can. Take a deep inhale, breathe into the side body. Creating a little bit more space for the lungs, for the baby. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, come all the way up. Switching the block to the other side. Hand comes to the block. Inhale, opposite arm reaches up and over. Shoulder peeling back. Maybe gaze comes up over the shoulder. Deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Good. Inhale, come all the way up. We're going to take those hands, interlace the fingers behind the back, press the knuckles down towards the mat, lift the chest, lift the gaze, shining that heart up towards the ceiling, really connecting and opening up within the heart space. Good. Release that. You can move all your props off the mat, and we're going to come to hands and knees. Tabletop position, so the wrists are underneath the shoulders. Knees are going to be underneath the hips here. Moving through a couple cat-cows. Inhale, relax the belly down towards the mat. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. And then exhale, tuck the chin, round the shoulders, and hug baby in with the belly, and then tuck the pelvis. Inhale, let the pelvis come to neutral. Relax the belly, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and tuck. Moving through a couple of these on your own. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Good. And then finding a few movements that just feel good here. Maybe you do a couple torso circles, tuning into where the stretch feels good and best in your body. Could even get into those shoulders, bend the elbows. Another good affirmation that you could use is, I cooperate with my body and my baby. Thinking about you and baby working together, trusting that your body and your baby know exactly what to do for this labor and for this birth. The beautiful thing about natural labor is it's just whatever comes naturally to you. So there's no right, there's no wrong way to birth a baby, and your birth is going to be exactly what it's meant to be. Go ahead and tuck the toes. We're going to send the hips to the ceiling. Chest comes towards the thighs. Pressing those palms away, shoulders are square to the mat. Take a moment, pedal the feet out, bending one knee, pressing one heel down. And pressing both heels down towards the mat. Pause here. And just know that birth is miraculous no matter what it looks like, no matter what the outcome is. It's all beautiful. Go ahead and slowly walk the hands back to the feet. Take those feet as wide as you can. We're going to release this head down. Forearms can either come to the thighs or hands to the thighs if that feels best. Otherwise, let your head release. Grab onto the elbows. Gentle bend in your knees and rock from one hip to the next. Come back to center. Roll up one vertebrae at a time, taking your time, getting all the way up. And once you get up, we can step to the top of the mat. On your next inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Right hand is going to grab onto the left wrist. Relax those shoulders. Deep inhale, grow tall. Exhale, hinge over to the right and hug baby in with the belly as you hinge. Inhale, come back to center, switch your grip. Exhale, hinge to the other side. Inhale, come to center. Take those palms together and exhale, hands down to heart center. We're going to work through a couple squats here, and when we do these squats, we're also going to do a breath called piston breath with it. Piston breath is a great breath that can get you through the transition phase, which can be one of the hardest phases during the labor experience, or sometimes maybe your moment of bliss and peace. But we are going to do an inhale through the nose again, and then as we sink down into our squat, exhale, we're going to shush that breath, like you're just gently parting your teeth and pushing that breath through that little bit of a part in your mouth. Shh, really pressing it out, squeezing the core as you shush out. So the feet are going to be hip distance, both toes pointed towards the top of the mat. If you need to go a little bit wider, that's fine. So just go to where your hips feel good. Deep inhale, we're going to reach the arms up overhead. Take those palms to touch. Exhale, we're going to sink down as we shush. Coming down as low as you can. Weights into the heels of the feet and then press your feet into the ground. Power yourself all the way back up. Arms are going to reach back overhead, palms to touch. As exhale, sink down. Keeping the knees tracking over the toes. Power back up. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sink. Coming as low as you can. Inhale, power up, building that strength and endurance to get you through labor. Exhale, sink. One more time, inhale up. And working our pelvic floor. Keeping that pelvic floor strong and stable to support you. Inhale, come all the way up. And then we're going to take those hands down to the belly or the hips, whichever feels good. Doing some hip circles here. Inhale as the hips come forward, and then exhale as you release the hips back. Hip circles is a great pose to bring into your everyday practice during pregnancy. Also to bring into labor. It helps gently ease the hips open. And then once you're in labor, your body's going to be working in different positions. The baby's going to be moving a little bit into different positions as it goes down into the birthing canal. So making a slight adjustment, a slight change either in your birthing position or in your hips here, like these circles, can help get that baby to move down. It also, in a right position, can help with pain management. Go ahead and switch directions here. So tuning into what feels good in your body now is going to help you practice to tune into what feels good in your body during labor. So just tune in to every movement today. Notice how your body responds in those uncomfortable situations. Notice always checking in with the jaw and throat, making sure those are soft and relaxed. Our pelvic floor is directly connected to the throat and the tongue. So making sure that you're often checking in with that during those uncomfortable positions as well during labor can help relax the body a little bit more. So make sure that you do that. Come to stillness. We're going to keep the right foot forward and then take a giant step back with the left foot, turning that back foot off to the side. So your front and back heel are slightly in line, and then the hips are going to be square here. Take the arms open to a T, deep inhale in, and then exhale, bend into the front knee. This front leg really needs to be externally rotating to build that strength and endurance within the pelvic floor and the hips. So make sure the knee is staying open towards the outside of the mat. And then deep inhale, exhale, we're gonna sink a little further into that front leg. Press the front foot into the mat. Shoulders directly over the hips, okay? Now, this is the time where we're checking in. We're building that strength, we're building that endurance. But we're checking with the body, making sure that it's staying soft in those places that it should stay soft. Connecting to the breath. Deep inhale, long exhale out. Good. We're going to take the right forearm to the right thigh. Left arm is going to reach up and overhead, modified side angle. Still making sure this knee doesn't come in towards the other side of the mat, the left side of the mat. Gaze can go wherever feels best on your head. So up at the ceiling, down at the mat. Keep breathing. Using those affirmations, affirming to yourself, you have the ability, you have the strength. Just notice that strength right now within your body already. This body that may be changing so gracefully for you or not so gracefully, but it is supporting you in this pose. It's already here. It's always there for you in no matter what situation you're going to be in. Inhale, come all the way back to warrior two. We're going to straighten the right leg. Toe heel the foot in together just slightly here. Toes are going to turn out and heels are slightly turned in. Inhale, reach those arms up overhead. Palms come to touch. Exhale, we're going to sink down, straight down a wall. Shoulders again stay stacked over those hips. Knees again are pressing open, so they should be tracking over those toes, checking with that. Working again through that endurance and then strengthening the inner thighs, which helps support the pelvis as it grows, as well as strengthening the pelvic floor. But as we inhale, let's power back up, press through those feet, tugging those heels in slightly without moving the feet. And then exhale, sink down. So now we're stretching the pelvic floor. Inhale, power up, building that strength and endurance. Exhale, sink, stretch. And as we hold here, again, stabilizing. Let's go one more time. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, sink down. We're going to hold here for a moment. So get comfortable. And this is the moments where you kind of tap into that voice. So the longest that you'll probably experience a contraction is going to be about 60 seconds. You can do anything. Your body can do anything for 60 seconds. And knowing that there's going to be a break. When you ride that wave, the contractions build. They start here, you're going to feel them coming on, they're going to reach their peak, and then they slowly taper off. So if you could even count your breath as you go through contraction. And let's do a couple pulses here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand all the way up. Whew, that was a good one. Take a deep breath. Get your body re-centered here. We're going to go onto the other side. You totally got this. So turn the left foot off to the back of the mat, bending into the left knee. This back foot is turned off to the angle. Arms are going to come to a T, externally rotating the left leg. Sink down a little further. Deep inhale. Exhale, sink. Good. You totally got this. One more deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Left forearm's gonna come to the left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over. That long line of energy from the fingertips all the way to the outer edge of the foot. And sink those hips down. I like to think of contractions being pain that my body is producing. So my body's not going to produce anything that I physically cannot handle. My mental strength might not be there, but my physical strength, remind yourself, my body can handle this. And every wave, every contraction has a purpose. So there's purpose to that pain that you're going to experience. Inhale, come all the way back up, straighten the left leg, toe heel those feet in. Whew. Good job. So we're gonna come to a deeper squat now, Malasana squat. I want you to grab onto your yoga blocks, maybe both of them, if you're gonna stack both of them up, if you need to get a little bit higher, or you can stack up onto a pillow, or if it feels good, if you have a birthing ball, you could even just sit on a birthing ball and take those legs wide if that feels good to you. But coming to the standing position, toes are gonna be slightly turned out. Feet are a little bit wider than the hips or underneath the hips, whatever feels best in your body here. Inhale, reach those arms up. Again, palms come to touch, and then exhale, we're gonna sink all the way down to the ground. I like to just take my hands right down there if you can, and take a moment to rock from side to side. Now, if you're all the way up here, that's okay. Come up here. Otherwise, sink a little further. And then when you're ready to find a little bit of stillness in this pose, take your block, take 2 blocks, however high you need to stack it up. You can always place your rolled up mat or towel underneath the heels if they can't get down to the ground. The elbows are gonna come to the inside of the knees. We're gonna press the palms together, and then I want you to try to grow a little bit taller. Now take this moment to just get recentered into your body. Reconnecting to the breath, allowing this deep squat to stretch the pelvic floor and lengthen it so that when baby is birthing out, that pelvic floor will get out of the way for us. Allow your palms to slowly come down to the mat. Lift up your hips. We're going to move whatever prop you have, and then we're going to come down to our hands and knees again. Placing the palms slightly in front of the shoulders this time, doing torso circles on the hands and knees position. So imagine that your belly button is just drawing a little circle on the mat. Inhaling again as you come forward, and then exhale as your hips release back from one side to the next. Just envision that stretch going all the way around the pelvic floor here. Hands and knees is a great position for labor, especially if you're experiencing back labor, because the uterus slightly tilts forward when you have a contraction. So when you're on the hands and knees, or maybe you're propped up a little bit higher in this leaning forward position, your uterus is allowed to just kind of hang there. You're working with gravity. Switch directions here. So it can help with pain management. And then it's a great pose because it allows you movement. So maybe if you want to bring a leg up into a lunge position, or come up to a kneeling position, or even get standing up or coming to a squat. Like, this is a very easy position to have people help you with that here. And using this torso circles to let that baby kind of wiggle down, really releasing as you release the hips back, imagining those pelvic floor stretching and opening. And then you also can play around with position of your knees here. So if your knees are in and your feet are wide, this opens the pelvic outlet. It takes your sit bones wider. So maybe when you're in those later stages, you're ready to open that pelvic outlet to get baby out. And then you can take the knees pretty wide to open the pelvic inlet to get the baby down into the birthing canal. So as you can see, this is one of my favorite. So let's grab onto those yoga blocks. We're going to place them on the left side of the mat. Right foot is going to come out to the outer edge of the right side of the mat, doing our circles now in the lunge. So this is the position that you could easily transition to. Inhaling as you lunge forward, exhale as you release the hips back. So if you're having baby in a position, you open this right hip. This is opening this pelvis here, creating a little bit more space on this side. So you could come here and notice a little shift in maybe the position of the baby, or you feel like this isn't comfortable, you try the other side and you notice a different shift. So go ahead and switch directions, but practicing showing up for yourself here now on this mat, showing up in this practice is helping your body prepare for that moment, is getting comfortable in these poses that you're naturally going to find yourself in labor. Good, come to stillness. We're going to take that right foot back to meet the left, placing, if you have props on the mat, just off the mat for a moment. And then keeping the hips right over the knees, just come down onto your forearms to begin here. In a modified puppy pose, and then if it feels good, you can go all the way to extended puppy pose. The hands come to the top of the mat, the forehead and chest release down. You can even place your forehead on a pillow or a yoga block if that feels good. Just allowing that belly to let gravity take a little bit of extra pressure off the back, off the hips. And again, lengthening and stretching the pelvic floor. With your next inhale, slowly bring yourself up. Taking those blocks over to the right side of the mat. Hands are going to go to the blocks. Now left foot comes out, torso circles on this side. Now if you need to prop yourself up a little bit more, take those blocks up higher, take your leg a little bit wider, or maybe even take your hands to a chair so you're up a little bit higher. But like I said, this is a good position that you can transition to, and having your support person maybe sitting in a chair in front of you, helping you transition into that pose. Oxytocin is that love hormone that we want to produce during labor. So having a partner that you love and trust there to support you, to look into your eyes, to naturally release that oxytocin, to hug you or even dance with you during labor, that can make the difference for your progression, for your ability to reach that primitive state that you want to reach, to get into that labor trance so that your body just comes instinctually into what it's exactly supposed to do. And that's not going to happen unless you feel comfortable enough for that to happen. Switch directions. And being here again, showing up in this class is helping prepare you to be in that point where you just love and you surrender and you trust and you end up with that exact outcome that you hope to have. Find some stillness in your body. We're going to take the left foot back to meet the right. You can place those blocks on either side of the mat here if you want to use them, and then grabbing onto your bolster or a pillow from your bed. And you also don't need this if you don't want it. But we're going to come to child's pose and just using that pillow for a little extra support. The knees can come wide, toes can come close or touching, whatever your body is capable of doing. And if it feels good, you can even prop your hips up a little bit higher on a pillow or some blankets if that helps this position be a little bit more accessible to you. And even if you need to stack some more pillows up here. Let's take the hands to the blocks if you have them, and then release the chest down onto your pillow. Your head can come to either side, Just taking this moment to allow your body to surrender down into this position. Birth is truly the ultimate act of love. It is that moment that you are going to surrender over so much trust to yourself, to your body, and to this beautiful creation that is inside of you. Just think of how you want to feel in that moment. Envision what that would look like, what support you have, what type of items that you use in your labor. Just envision yourself in that moment having it unfold exactly how you hope it would. Envision that feeling and the colors, anything that's around you that can tie you down into that moment, and manifest that for you, that labor of love. On your next inhale, slowly press yourself up. You can come down to a laying position here just to close off your practice, or if it feels comfortable, come back to that seated position, maybe propping yourself again up on those props. And we're just going to end our practice the same way we started it, with that nice calming breath. This time really focusing on pressing that breath down into the back of the throat, through the lungs, through the uterus, and out through the pelvic floor. A great breath, that downward energy, that downward breath that we want during birth, okay? So go ahead and close your eyes wherever you are, laying on your left side, maybe a pillow under your head between your legs. Or maybe again, you're sitting up, whatever feels best here for you. And think of something that you might need, that affirmation that might get you through labor, that you might need in that birthing space. And think of that affirmation and state it to yourself as though you've already achieved it. On your next inhale, take a deep inhale in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, press that breath down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, press it down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release and let that breath go. I like to think this breath as the waves of the ocean, just like your contractions are like waves. They rise and they fall. But as I inhale, I think of the waves, how they bring in new life, new opportunities. So as I breathe in, I think I breathe in strength and courage. I breathe in trust. And then as I exhale and those ocean waves wash away, that anything isn't serving you, that is no longer needed there. So I let myself release those doubts. I breathe out those fears or those worries. And I breathe in that confidence. Good. Allow your breath to soften. And feel free to stay here as long as you would like. Thank you for joining me in your practice, for showing up to allow your body the movement that it needs, that connection that you and your baby need to be able to love this labor. I'm sending you all the positive vibes, all the love and support. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.